When it comes to legendary hip hop artists, I don't think Snoop Dogg needs an introduction, but I'ma do it anyways. Snoop Dogg is a West Coast trailblazer who helped pioneer and popularize the G-Funk sound with the release of his debut album, Doggy Style, in 1993 when he was only 22 years old. The album was released under the Death Row label and is considered by many to be his best album. Since then, his fame has grown to incredible heights, becoming a household name. Using his fame, Snoop has been in countless commercials and advertisements to perpetuate his fortune and fame further.
Hey Martha, pass me that big Easy Reach lighter in that bowl.
Bowl of strawberries.
Thanks.
From Corona to Call of Duty, Snoop's opportunistic mentality makes him a marketing genius, which is a topic for another time, but this marketing genius is what led him to the concept of NFTs.
What do you mean by that?
So NFTs are digital assets that are unique to a person. The digital data is stored in a blockchain. They're basically unique digital data that you can sell, buy, and trade. NFTs come in the form of pictures, videos, or audio. For example, if I own this certain NFT, nobody else can own it. Even if you download it or take a screenshot, the NFT's ownership is still in my name, and that's what makes it special. Kind of like having a one-of-a-kind art piece or trading card, if you will. Now, despite its recent popularity, NFTs were around since 2014, with the first being Quantum by Kevin McCoy. They didn't get popular until 2021, and it's kind of difficult to determine precisely when they began to rise in popularity in the mainstream, but I think it's safe to say that the GameStop stock trends and the crypto hype propelled NFTs into the mainstream. And a notable transaction was the Crossroad NFT sold by Beeple for $6.66 million and CryptoPunk 7084, which sold for $7.56 million, which kind of caused an eruption in the NFT world. And around 2021, in March, the NFT hype began to roll. In April of 2021, the Bored Ape Yacht Club series began. At this point in time, NFT prices kept soaring and many celebrities and companies began to sell their personal NFTs, capitalizing on this lucrative opportunity. And if you don't know by now, Snoop Dogg loves making money. There isn't a money-making opportunity Snoop wouldn't turn down. So the rise of NFTs basically led Snoop Dogg into being interested in NFTs and creating his own projects or collaborating with other artists to release his own NFTs. But when I search up Snoop Dogg's very first NFT, there are usually two projects that are mentioned as his first, but I'll just do it by release date because a lot of articles claim his first NFT is Decentralized Dog, and others claim it is A Journey with the Dog. But on April 2nd, 2021, Snoop dropped his first NFT collection, which included a collection of memories from Snoop Dogg's life, some iconic quotes, and an original song titled NFT, which stands for Never Forget to Pass It in classic Snoop Dogg fashion. So at this point, it's becoming very apparent that Snoop saw a future in NFTs and began to have a strong focus on the new trend. In September 2021, Snoop announced on Twitter that he was Cosimo Medici, a Twitter user who would share with his followers his NFT purchases. Now, this was interesting not only because Snoop had a secret identity of sorts, but the digital wallet that was tied to Cosimo was worth $17 million at the time, so it's safe to say that his focus was fully on NFTs. Then fast forward to November 2021, Snoop Dogg and NFT artist Coldy collaborated for Snoop's very first NFT collaboration. And it is a 3D picture collage made up of 10 pictures of Snoop throughout his career. And there are articles that claim that the NFT included a soundtrack or single, but I could not confirm whether that was the case. I couldn't find it. And the NFT was sold via auction and sold for 188.8 Ethereum, which was about $778,381. So it's not hard to see that NFTs were a huge opportunity to make some serious money, considering that this single art piece sold for that much. So here's where it gets kind of crazy with the Snoopverse. So In December 2021, Snoop announced that he was entering the metaverse with his Snoopverse. Yes, that's right, the Snoopverse. Not the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not the DC Universe, but the Snoopverse in the Sandbox, which is a crypto video game that allows people to make money in the game via cryptocurrency and NFTs. Sandbox is a game in the virtual metaverse where people can play games and participate in events and parties. It's kind of like Roblox or Minecraft, except you can actually make money since the game is tied to the blockchain. And when Snoop announced his Snoopverse, this included an auction where he sold a virtual land, exclusive NFTs, and 3 small estates. And basically in the Sandbox, you can own a piece of virtual land that will be yours to own. So you can build stuff on this land to profit off the investment, whether it's games or attractions. And Snoop had his own land where he had a giant mansion. And basically players could bid on the lands in order to be within the Snoopverse land. So just kind of living within the land. So imagine bidding in an auction to buy land in Disneyland so you can be next door neighbors with the mouse himself. But this is all virtual. And the first day of the auction ended with around $14 million worth of sales, and an individual paid around $450,000 just to be Snoop Dogg's neighbor in this virtual metaverse. Later in January 2022, Snoop announced the Doggies NFTs in the Sandbox. There are a total of 10,000 of these NFTs and each have a different rarity. So for example, you had a 63% chance to pull a human, 11% for a blue doggy, 10% for an alien, 7% for zombie, 5% for dog, 3% for robot, and 1% for golden. And these are essentially character skins that you can have in the game, but in NFT form, so there's only one of one, basically. And the sales price at the launch was about 0.57 Ethereum. And Snoop tweeted on February 23rd that they were sold out. So just based on that date and the price of Ethereum during that time, the NFTs would have sold at about $1,470 with 46 cents each. So give or take, this would be another $14 million. And the next day, Snoop announced that he'd sell his own personal avatar and 100% of the proceeds would go to help Ukraine, which is pretty dope. You know, good for you, Snoop. So as Snoop kept making money moves and kept pushing his NFTs, something weird happened around February 2022. And this is because Snoop Dogg acquired Death Row Records, which made him the CEO. He then announced that Death Row Records would become an NFT label.
What do you mean by that?
Snoop stated, "We will be putting out artists through the metaverse, just like we broke the industry when we was the first independent to major. We want to be the first major in the metaverse." Then on February 11, Snoop dropped his album BODR, or Back on Death Row. Then 2 days later, Snoop released his album in the blockchain with stash boxes that included one of the songs from the album as an NFT for the price of $5,000. Then later in March, classic Death Row albums were pulled from music streaming services including Doggy Style, The Dogfather, and Dr. Dre's The Chronic. On Nori and DJ FN's podcast Drink Champs, Snoop was a guest and elaborated why he pulled these classic albums from streaming services, with Snoop saying,
"First thing I did was snatched all the music off of those platforms traditionally known to people, because those platforms don't pay. And those platforms get millions and millions and millions of streams and nobody gets paid other than the record labels. So what I wanted to do was snatch my music off, create a platform, which is something sort of similar to Amazon, Netflix, Hulu. It'll be a Death Row app. And then the music, in the meantime, will live in the metaverse."
Sorry to stop you.
So the Death Row albums being pulled are kind of what led me to making the video. I was kind of curious as to why they were being removed, and I knew that Snoop had sort of involvement, so I put on my detective hat and did some investigating. And the way I view it is that even though Snoop is trying to protect these albums and, you know, profit off these albums and kind of help out upcoming artists, I think that he's depriving us fans from these timeless classics. And I understand that Snoop is no stranger to money-making opportunities, but it kind of feels like the removal of these songs and albums are purely based off profit and just making them into NFTs. I'm not really a hater on NFTs. I kind of tried making the video as non-biased as possible. I have no issue for people that make NFTs or sell them. If you guys can make a profit off of them, I understand, but I also understand that these corporations just make them purely for profit, and it's kind of negative. I honestly think that's why Snoop was interested in becoming the CEO of Death Row in the first place, which gave him access to these albums, rights, and he basically saw it as an NFT making opportunity. And as a fan of hip hop, I feel somewhat disappointed, but as a person who studies business, I can understand his entrepreneurial mentality. But since then, Snoop has released other projects like his song with Eminem, From the D to the LBC, which featured Bored Apes. He also performed the song with Eminem at the VMAs as virtual Bored Ape avatars. So what do you guys think? Is Snoop a creative genius, or is this just a phase that he's going through? Let me know what you guys think in the comment down below. And this is the first time I ever make an informative video like this around hip hop. I thought it was kind of fun. So if you guys like seeing videos like these, let me know down in the comments below. There's a ton of hip hop stories. Hip hop is basically, it's storytelling. There's lots of stories to tell from back in the day to now. So if you guys want to hear more of these, let me know. Have a dope day. Peace.